Dan Illman, Mike Beer taking a look at the feature race at Del Mar on Sunday. Let's throw up the field for the Grade 2 Del Mar Mile. We're going a mile on the turf, and there's some nice older horses in this race. The 6 Sharp Samurai we are expecting to be scratched from this race. He is cross-entered in Saturday's Pacific Classic on dirt, and the connections, as of right now at least, are leaning towards that spot. There's a lot of speed in this race, but for me, Mike, the key to this race is whether the number 4 Mo Forza will be ready to race off such a long layoff.
Yeah, well, we'll see what we get from him. He was getting really good late in his 3-year-old year last year. Then he just seemed like he kept getting better with every race. So if he comes back off the layoff and is taking a step forward, this field could be in trouble.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector for this race. I completely agree with the red bar scenario. It should be fast up front. We've got a stretch-out sprinter in Bombard who has shown sprint speed, and the 2 horses on the outside, Bob and Jackie, and most notably Kiwi's Dream. Those horses are going to be forward, and this race might set up very nicely for a closer.
Yeah, I thought there would be a fast pace too. I mean, at least, you know, in Bombard's defense, he's got an inside post, so he could fall into a good trip here if the other 2 leave running from the outside, but I still think the pace is going to be fast.
Let's talk a little bit about the number 1, the Black Album, who will be making his West Coast debut for new trainer Peter Miller. Always a solid horse up in Canada, always a solid horse back east, a multiple stakes winner, listed as a first-time gelding on your program. This is a horse, again, with good tactical speed. I've never seen him as a graded horse just yet. He'll have to step up a little bit.
I thought he would have to improve too. He did improve a little bit last time when they took him to Indiana and he won that minor stakes race over there. I mean, he got a perfect trip in that race, but he did run a 94 buyer. I do think this is a positive trainer change for him, and he's got a great post.
Let's watch Bombard's last race, and it's notable. It's his first start in over a year, and they've cut him back to 5 furlongs, and he shows big early speed and a little bit of heart as well. He runs second to a sharp horse in this race, Mike. You got to think he's sitting on go, second start of the form cycle. I'm just a little concerned about the other pace horses in here.
Yeah, well, again, I do think he might fall into a good trip here, Dan, but, you know, we'll see what happens. I personally still have to worry about the mile for him against horses like this. I do think he's going to have to improve to do it. And it's not like, you know, you're going to expect a big forward move from this horse. He's a 7-year-old already.
Let's watch Galilean's last race, the Cal Dreaming at Del Mar on July the 26th. Notable because this is his turf debut. And this son of Uncle Mo, by the way, he's only run 1 bad race in his career, and that was the Arkansas Derby over a sloppy track against Omaha Beach in a race preceding a very long layoff. Other than that, he's been very solid and very well placed by John Sadler, and he's a sleeper from the back of the pack.
I thought he was too. You know, we'll see what happens. Obviously, this is a much tougher race than that one that he just won there in his turf debut. I just liked that effort from him, Dan. I agree with you that he's always been a good horse, and he did get a really good trip in the Cal Dreamin'. But if nothing else, he did what you want to see good turf horses to do. When he got clear, he quickened through the stretch, took that race over, and held off the closer. I don't know. I liked that performance from this horse.
Last fall, Mo Forza woke up one day and said, I want to be a racehorse, and he won 4 races in a row, including the Hollywood Derby, and became the best 3-year-old turf horse on the West Coast. He's only raced once this year, and what a tough start to go back against older horses. They ran him in the Pegasus World Cup turf, a race without Lasix, going 1 mile and 3/16, maybe a little far for him, and he just had no shot the way that trip panned out.
He did not have a fair chance last time. You don't want to hold that race against him. Again, if he just comes back and takes a little bit of a step forward here as a 4-year-old, as you know, he certainly has a right to do. I mean, he's just supposed to be really hard to beat in here. He was good last year.
And he was probably between 4 and 6 wide all the way around the track in the Pegasus. Dreams of Valor is the number 5. This is a horse moving from dirt to turf. He has had success on the grass. Let's go back to his most recent turf start. Now, I know this is only a $50,000 claiming race. It got a fig, 94 buyer speed figure, but watch the way Dreams of Valor did it. He did it on the lead, stretching out, and it's just hard to imagine Dreams of Valor getting this kind of trip with all the other speeds lined up.
Right. I mean, it just doesn't seem like he's going to be able to make his way to the early lead here. And if he does, he's going to have to really work for it. And he's going to have to do all that while he steps way up in class.
if Sharp Samurai's connections do change their minds and decide to run in this race, he's an automatic contender, isn't he?
I think so. I mean, in a lot of ways, I think he's the horse to beat if this is where they run him.
Royal Ship, the number 7, comes in from South America for trainer Dick Mandela. He has won 5 in a row, including a Group 1 race at a mile. Mandela has had a lot of success with South American imports over the years, and I think Royal Ship's found a really nice spot for his North American unveiling. Mike Smith gets them out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does, Dan. I don't really have a lot to say about him. These horses are always so hard to evaluate. You just don't know what they've been running against. Obviously, he's been very heavily favored in all of his races down there, and he's come through, that's for sure.
Restrained Vengeance, the number 8's a hard-hitting older runner. He's earned 3 triple-digit Beyer speed figures in his career, one of them in a graded stakes placing at Santa Anita last fall. Now, he ran on the San Francisco Mile last time out, and I'm just not really sure he got any pace in that race. The pace held up, and Restrained Vengeance just had too much to do turning for home. His prior effort on synthetic was very good. I think he's the kind of horse you might want to consider on the bottom of your single-race exotics.
I sort of looked at him that way, too. He does have a couple of really fast races, and if he runs one of those, yeah, I guess he's going to be tough in here, Dan. We'll see what happens. I thought this was a tougher spot than the ones he's been running in, but he's certainly not impossible, and he might be an okay price in here.
Number 9, Overdue, is a horse who's found a tough spot for his first race since early January. That was the Grade 2 San Gabriel. They put him on the lead that day. I guess that race just had no speed whatsoever. He is better from the back of the pack. He showed that last year. He's going to get that kind of trip here, but a real tough spot off the layoff for a horse that still must prove that he's a graded stakes caliber runner.
Yeah, I agree. It's a tough spot for him. I will say that when he won that allowance race last October going this distance, I was pretty taken with that performance. I thought he ran really well that day to get up and win. Obviously, the next 2 starts didn't work out, but I think there could be excuses for that. I don't love him, Dan, but he is the kind of horse that I wanted to throw in there somewhere on the bottom.
Let's watch Bob and Jackie and Kiwi's Dream in the Wicker Stakes last time out on July the 11th. Kiwi's Dream, boy, he's just dropped 3 photo finishes in a row. He's had the lead in all of those races. It looks like he might be home free right here, and Bob and Jackie's just going to kick him down. And Bob and Jackie ran well in this race because it was his first start off of a lengthy layoff, his first race against older horses. And if he ran second, the connections would have said, that's a really nice building block effort. He was really game to win.
He was. He ran really well in this race. These 2 horses did not draw well in this race, especially when you consider their running styles. I guess they'll both come out of there running and try and get the trips that they need. I preferred Bob and Jackie to Kiwi's Dream, but they're pretty close.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 2 Mar Mile Handicap. I think Mo Forza is going to be ready off the bench. You look at Formulator, Peter Miller's numbers off this kind of a layoff, they haven't been very good recently. Mo Forza, though, I think has enough tactical speed to work out a trip. I don't mind him cutting back to a mile. I think he just might be the best one in here. And Galilean has just been very consistent, Mike. You're going to get a real good price on him.
Yeah, I just wanted to take him because I do think he'll be a price. And again, I think he did take a step forward on turf last time. I know he got a great trip in there, but I like the way that he finished that race off. I'm going to take a shot with him, especially now. If Sharp Samurai doesn't run here, Dan, I think that even opens the race up a little bit more.
Mike's going 3-6-4-9. I'm going 4-11-110. It's the feature at Del Mar on Sunday. The Grade 2 Del Mar Mile is an approximate post time of 6 o'clock Pacific. Best of luck.